Something out there is breaking the rules. Not bending them, breaking them. A planet is sitting exactly where science says it cannot be. It should be gone, vaporized, swallowed whole. But it is still there, spinning quietly in the dark, like it never got the memo that it was supposed to die. And the more scientists look at it, the more one question grows louder in their minds. What else do we not understand about the universe we live in? Think about the last time something in your life should have fallen apart, but somehow it did not. A relationship that should have ended. A plan that should have failed. A version of you that should have given up, but kept going anyway. There is something strange and comforting about survival that makes no sense. We feel it in our own lives. We root for the thing that refuses to follow the rules. And somewhere 530 light years from Earth, a planet is doing exactly that on a scale that makes our own stories feel small. Here's where it gets serious. Every star, including our own sun, has an ending written into it. When a star like the sun runs low on fuel, it does not just fade away quietly. It swells. It grows into something called a red giant, stretching out far beyond its original size, reaching into space and swallowing anything unlucky enough to be sitting close by. Planets, moons, whole worlds, gone. Scientists have watched this pattern again and again. It is not a theory. It is one of the most well-tested ideas in modern astronomy. So when researchers using NASA's TESS satellite, a spacecraft built to hunt for planets around other stars, turned their attention to a star called 8 Ursae Minoris, they expected the usual story. This star is a red giant. It is dying. And it is dying so violently that it should have already destroyed anything orbiting close to it. But when they looked closer, they found something that made no sense. A planet, sitting in a stable, nearly circular orbit. Close. Too close. Close enough that it should not still be breathing. At first, the obvious explanation was simple. Maybe the star had not fully expanded yet. Maybe the planet was living on borrowed time, waiting for the inevitable. That would make sense. That would fit the rules. But then the scientists did something clever. They listened to the star. Stars do not just sit there. They pulse, ripple. They deep inside every star. There are tiny vibrations, sound waves trapped inside burning gas, and by studying the pattern of those vibrations, scientists can figure out exactly what stage of its life a star is in. This method is called astroseismology, and it is basically a way of reading a star's heartbeat. When the team studied the heartbeat of 8 Ursae Minoris, the answer they got was not comforting. It was not comforting at all. The pattern matched a star that had already finished expanding. A star that had already gone through its most violent phase. A star that had already had its chance to destroy anything nearby and had moved past it. In other words, the danger was not still coming. The danger had already happened. And the planet had lived through it anyway. Let that sink in for a second. This is not a planet that got lucky by being far away. This is not a planet waiting nervously for disaster. This is a planet that stood directly in the path of a dying star's expansion. Should have been consumed by fire and gravity, and somehow came out the other side still orbiting, still intact. Still there. The astronomers behind the discovery, led by Mark Hunn at the University of Hawaii, published their findings in the journal Nature, and the paper had a title that says everything you need to know. A close and giant planet escapes engulfment by its star. Escapes, like it ran from something. Like it fought and won. So how does a planet survive something that should be impossible to survive? This is where the story stops being just a cool space fact and becomes something genuinely mind-bending. Scientists have a few ideas, and none of them are simple. One theory is that the planet was not actually there the whole time. It might have started farther out, safely beyond the star's reach, and only moved inward after the dangerous expansion phase had already ended, slipping into its current tight orbit once the coast was clear. Another theory is even stranger. Some scientists think the planet may have swallowed a smaller companion planet during the chaos, absorbing its mass and gaining enough energy to survive the violent gravitational storm around the dying star. Either way, the old assumption breaks down. Scientists used to believe that once a star begins its final transformation, nearby planets are simply doomed. No exceptions. But this discovery proves that assumption wrong. It shows that planet formation, planet movement, and planet survival are far messier, far more chaotic, and far more unpredictable than anyone expected. The universe is not following a clean set of instructions. It is improvising. And here is the twist that makes this whole thing hit differently. This is not just a story about a rock floating in space. This is a preview. Our own sun will one day become a red giant too. Billions of years from now, it will expand, and it may reach far enough to threaten Earth itself. For decades, the assumption was simple. If a planet is close enough when that happens, it is finished. No coming back. But 8 Ursay Manoris B just proved that survival is possible, even when everything says it should not be. This is the moment the whole story has been building toward. A planet stared down a dying, expanding star. A force that has destroyed countless worlds before it, and it did not disappear. It adapted. It moved, or it merged, or it simply found a way, and now it sits there, calm and steady, orbiting a star that already tried to kill it and failed. Scientists are not just impressed. They are recalculating what they thought they understood about how planetary systems live and die. A rule that felt absolute, a rule written into the textbooks, just got broken by a single stubborn planet 530 light-years away. Maybe that is the real reason this story grabs people. We like being reminded that endings are not always guaranteed, even when every sign points to disaster. This planet had every reason to be gone. The physics said so. The history of other stars said so. And yet here it is, existing anyway, quietly rewriting the rules just by continuing to exist. There is something almost human about that. About surviving the thing that was supposed to end you and coming out the other side changed, but still here. Somewhere out in the dark right now, that planet is still orbiting its dying star, a small stubborn world that refused to follow the script. And honestly, maybe that is worth remembering the next time something in your own life feels like it should not have survived, but did. If a planet can outlast a dying star, your bad week can probably survive too. If this story made your brain do a double take, that is exactly the feeling worth chasing. Subscribe if you want more real discoveries that sound like science fiction but are not, and drop a comment telling me what impossible thing in the universe you want explained next.